Welcome to part 7 of our guided meditation series, Mindfulness Meditation series. Today we're going to work with the reality of meditative experience, which is often that our mind gets wrapped up in thinking. When we bring stillness to our body and decide not to do much else, our mind naturally takes this time to think into the future of what's to come, or maybe replays an experience of the past. Sometimes we even move off into imagination and fantasy. And for some people, the act of thinking comes up more in an auditory way, so hearing your inner voice. And for some people, it may come up more visually, in visual imagination. And some of the more or other internal senses may kick in for you too, but I'll keep it to those two most common ones today. So what we're going to do is address when our mind wanders into thinking or imagination by turning our focus directly towards the fact that we are doing this, and to add a very neutral label when we recognize that our mind has wandered. So if you notice that you're getting lost in thought, and it doesn't matter what the content is, doesn't matter what the timeline is, and it doesn't matter if you catch it right away or 5 minutes later you realize that you've been thinking or imagining. When you do recognize it, you'll say, thinking, 2 times. Thinking, just applying, in case that wasn't clear, 2 times. So applying that label. If it happens to be an inner movie, more visual, then you say, imagining. And once you've said those words to yourself internally, then you bring yourself back to what? I'm going to leave that up to you today. So if you've been working with the breath and that works well for you, then you can rest your attention back in your body, particularly in the feelings of breathing. Ever present of your body, and something that we have a really neutral relationship with. You may want to apply the counting technique. And you could also work with sound. So we were doing this 2 days ago or 2 sessions ago, opening your ears to what you hear. And there's other techniques as well that we'll explore, but given that that's what we've worked with so far, those are my recommendations. But if you have your own internal practice or your own meditative practice, feel free to bring your attention back to whatever that object or field, process, or experience is. Recommend something that's going on in the present moment, something that is of your body that's experiential, and something that you have a neutral relationship towards. Okay. Remember, thinking, or imagining, depending on where you're carried off to. All right, let's begin. Find a comfortable seat, and I haven't mentioned for a few days, but you could lie down as well. Just try to stay awake if you do. Make sure that you're indeed able to come to ease in your body. And the ease is in cooperation with gravity. So settle down through your hips, your hands, your shoulders. And then to stay awake, there's a complementary quality of lifting up away from gravity. So if you're sitting, that's lifting up through the back edges of your ears and the top of your head. Soften your jaw. Let your tongue relax with the tip of your tongue to the back of your 2 top front teeth. As your body gets quiet, your attention may open first to what is not quiet. Allow yourself to get oriented by what you hear and what you feel. And even what you see, be it behind closed eyelids or with your gaze to the ground. And then choose what your default technique will be. And if your mind is kind of circulating and trying to decide, I recommend just take a few moments to feel the breathing body. Where in your body do you feel the breath the most? And this becomes a place to return to again and again whenever you notice you're not here. In mindfulness meditation, we're looking continually to simplify experience, to bring it as close as possible to what's really going on right here and right now. With less bias, less preference. As soon as you notice that your attention is moved away from observing and feeling the present moment, then turn directly towards what you focused your attention on and say, thinking, thinking, or imagining, imagining. And then drop it. Bring your attention back to what you've chosen to be your meditative process. By the time you notice that you're thinking, a good amount of time may have passed. You may even feel like you're investing in some thinking that's really needed in this moment, a good use of time. Remember, we're trying to keep this so simple. Trying to feel what's going on in our lives without adding anything more. Herein, you get to know yourself better. Witnessing what comes up, recognizing it, and then letting it go. If your mind feels quite busy, then don't worry about noting every little thought that arises. Only when you know and you feel that you've really been carried away. This may show up as being carried away to the point that you forget where you are or what's going on. And then that's time to label it thinking, and then gently come back. And as we practice, we begin to recognize the difference between witnessing thoughts and adding your energy to thinking. Witnessing thoughts may feel like your thoughts show up in fragments and incomplete sentences, the beginnings of ideas. But when we invest into them, they may start to sound like really good ideas. Instead, for now, let yourself feel this moment. Just let it be. Thank you for your practice. I actually just wanted to say in closing that it's really important when we investigate our thinking mind that we don't become hard on ourselves for the fact that we're thinking, knowing that this is what our mind does. Some days it can really be turned on to a lot of active thought. Some days it can be more quiet. And we can't fight it. We just work with what we've got from day to day. So, thank you again. Thank you. Namaste.